Welcome back once again to the coverage of the Remote Duo TCG Invitational. We have already seen plenty of actions and we have gone through 6 of our top 16 matches. So now we have 2 more matches remaining for the day to find out the last top 8 match on Sunday tomorrow. And it will be one just as good, if not more, of the one we have seen. And it's gonna be the one between our last Italian player. We'll see if we'll have all Italian, advancing to the day 2 with Valerio against Jean-Loup Bernard, which is also a quite a known player from Belgium, I believe. So it's gonna be an interesting one, and it's one yet again we have not seen, a very interesting matchup, as we are gonna have Jean-Loup playing the one and only Prankids deck of the entire event, using those 3 copies of Meow Meow for the last time that it's available, and it's gonna be against Drytron. So definitely a very interesting match, but before jumping into action, let's hear from the first player's interview.
I have been playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Competitively since I think 2020 at first. I played more casually when I was like 7 or 8 years old with my friends, but then I dropped the game when I advanced to middle school. I took back the game when I started high school and immediately fell in love with the game. At start, I was playing Salamangreats and I thought that was a really cool deck, and then I continued to play like a lot of different decks until now. I took the game more competitively, as I said, in 2020. That's kind of a hard question because I didn't watch the anime, I'm not a great fan, but when I was like 8 years old, I used to watch Yu-Gi-Oh! Zexal, and one of my favorite characters was Kite, and I really like his Photon deck, and when I was like 8-9 years old, I tried to build one. Unfortunately, it didn't go well because obviously I didn't know how the deck should have worked or something. So I really liked the Kite, but when I tried to deck it, things did not go really good. When I first saw Master Duel, I thought that it was a really cool game with really cool animations, and I think it can bring like more audience to the game. If we have more people in the community, I think the game will be like really better because we have bigger tournaments and a larger community, which is absolutely all gain because it's fantastic to see a lot of people with the same interest that you have. So if we can have more players, it's definitely a very good thing. The card theme I had the most fun playing with, well, it's a very good question. I played so many decks, but I think Salamangreats is definitely the one I enjoyed the most, because when I took back the game 2 years ago, obviously more casually than I do play the game now, I immediately fell in love with Salamangreats because I knew nothing about Link monsters, and seeing a deck that was entirely focused on that new incredible Link monsters just made me think, wow, that's an amazing game. I also liked Plunder Patrols and Light Swarms, but Salamangreat I think is my deck. If people ask me what's my favorite deck, I cannot not play Salamangreat. If I could create a card, that would probably be a Plunder Patrol support, or maybe even 2 or 3 Plunder Patrol support, because if you play the deck, you know better than me, we need ships of different attributes. I think that if we had like a lot of ships, maybe one for each attribute, games will be really fun, because Plunder Patrol is one of the funniest archetypes in the game, in my opinion, and having the possibility of playing with like all the resources that you can have in this game, so I mean one ship for every attribute, games will be like so much entertaining and so much fun.
Great stuff from Valerio, and as we already mentioned, the pressure is on him to be the 4th out of the 4 Italians to advance to day 2 and just show up a complete dominance, I would say. But to stop him, as we said, quite experienced player in the name of Jean-Loup Bernard. So let's hear him from him and his Prankits deck.
I'm playing Yu-Gi-Oh since 2009, so now it's 12 years, and I start with Light Swan format. My favorite character in Yu-Gi-Oh is Jess Anderson, because the first deck I was playing was Crystal Beast, and especially with Rainbow Dragon, and I still feel honest with it. To be honest, I'm really excited by Master Duel, because that's the first time we could really play Yu-Gi-Oh! Online and change the experience of playing online. The most fun for me was the HAT package. So it was really a grind game. So I really enjoyed this format, especially. If I can create a card for me, I will create a new support for Plunder Patrol, because I really like the characters, and I think it will be a link or something who create a competitive deck.
Yeah, you can already tell he's more experienced than the other player, but I'm sure they will put on a good show. And as we mentioned, while Jean-Loup is playing the Prankits deck, he's playing it with quite an unusual build, full of Mystic Minds. But just as we were mentioning this, we quickly checked Valerio Drytron deck, which usually doesn't really have an out, and he's maining 3 Twin Twisters. So it seems like he really saw that coming, and maybe that will actually be the key turning point of the duel. But I would say, if our players are ready, let's just find out who will be the player who advances to tomorrow. Okay, so nice stuff here from our 2 players. Let's see who is gonna actually make it. The die roll is, I would say, more relevant than in other matchups, as both decks can combo off with very few cards. So
here we will see Jean-Loup is also playing Metaverse. So if he really wants to go for the Mystic Mine, maybe he wouldn't think that his opponent is main decking any copy of Twin Twister, but actually he is. We might see this game from a different point of view. Let's see now under die roll, which is going to be very relevant.
Absolutely, it's one of those matchups where it could automatically mean the game is over, but let's see. So I think he drew 5 Prankids.
Looks like
4, or maybe not. Yeah, some entropy. So 5 monsters from Jean-Loup. Let's see who is gonna start things off. I think I saw Ghost Bell. Let me check if he's playing it. Yeah. So he has Ghost Bell in the end. The Descent, not really amazing, but let's see. Again, who is starting things off? Okay, a quick question here from our players. I just want to make sure that they are both ready and to go. I think it's Jean-Loup. Yeah. Jean-Loup opens up, and we all know that a single Prankits is enough to combo off. I think we saw a lot of success from the deck playing Parallel Exceed in the past. This is not the case here. So a single end trap could stop this opening, but it doesn't seem like Valerio has it. To be honest, how many is he even playing? I think just the Herald.
Yeah. Now he's in trouble, because we have seen during our last remote duel invitational that Nash Blossom on the very first Prankits monster hurt a lot, but this is not the case. Now, even though we saw Jean-Loup having multiple monsters in his hand, this doesn't change a lot, because actually he's able to combo off. Let's see if Valerio has any response, but doesn't seem like he has the Herald.
No, he doesn't stop the prank kids, I think he would have probably used it every time over there. This means that he's free to do his butler setup, and yeah, that's not a good news from Valerio, who on his own side is actually playing an interesting version of the deck, as he is using the Red Ice Fusion package, so something we have not seen from the previous Drytron player this weekend. Okay.
Yeah, no surprises here. This is like standard prank kids combo. Anyways, Valerio is looking now.
Yeah, against 1,000, and he gets the Roxys, or I mean the last prank kids is missing. And this is just the usual setup, which we already mentioned in the Forbidden Unlimited list discussion. Is not gonna be as obvious after the new list. As the second effect from Meow Meow, which allows you to go for 2 butlers in a way, is a big decision, because if you decide to go for that, you don't have access to Meow Meow for the rest of the game, while you can shuffle it back with pranks and just make sure that you have your, you know, set up every turn. Okay. So no response still here, so we're probably gonna see the Bow Wow. And we can see him banishing a card to draw a card. Let's see. Yeah.
Okay.
Usual stuff we have seen, and which we all know very well by this point.
I also like the fact that finally we get to see some action from the prank kids player, because like as mentioned before, one hand trap like Gamma or Ash Blossom in the very first.
I think going first, and especially against Valerio, is one of the best case scenarios for Jean-Loup in all of our top 16 matches, and it's quite unfortunate for Valerio that he had to go this way, but still, OP is far from being over, as we know Drytron is a very strong combo deck, so let's see. Especially because with the Mystic Mines Jean-Loup deck, it's slightly worse at going first. So
yeah, that might have been able to hurt Valerio, but I think this start is very strong.
Yeah, I mean, it's the usual butler setup, as we mentioned, with the pranks, which is even able to get him a +1.
Yeah, doesn't look like super happy Valerio about this. What can he do? Like, I believe he can anyways deal with this board nonetheless.
Yeah, Albaldo. So let's see if he picks up anything. What do you think is the strategy here? Because double Raigeki essentially from the butler is quite tough.
Yeah, dealing with the butler is not easy for Valerio. But the main thing now is how many hand traps does Jean-Loup have? Because like we saw one Ghost Bell, and he might have another copy, maybe an Ash Blossom.